Once upon a time, in a dense forest nestled between towering mountains, there lived a raven named Kyle. Kyle was no ordinary bird. He possessed a keen intellect and a heart filled with longing. Despite the forest's lush greenery and the melody of chirping birds, Kyle often found himself consumed by a deep sense of discontentment. Kyle's perch was a sturdy branch of an ancient oak tree, where he would spend his days observing the comings and goings of the forest creatures. From his vantage point, he could see the shimmering surface of a nearby pond, where colorful fish danced beneath the water's surface. But despite the beauty that surrounded him, Kyle couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing from his life. One day, as Kyle sat brooding on his branch, a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying with it the soft chanting of a distant monk. Intrigued, Kyle cocked his head and listened intently. The melodic cadence of the monk's voice seemed to soothe the raven's troubled mind, and he felt a strange sense of peace wash over him. Following the sound of the chanting, Kyle soon came upon a small clearing where a monk sat in silent meditation beneath the dappled shade of a banyan tree. The monk's eyes were closed, and his face bore the serene expression of one who had attained inner peace. Curious, Kyle fluttered down to the ground and perched on a nearby rock, watching the monk with rapt attention. For a long while, neither of them spoke, until finally the monk opened his eyes and smiled warmly at the raven. "Greetings, my feathered friend," said the monk, his voice as gentle as the rustling leaves. "What brings you to this quiet corner of the forest?" Kyle hesitated for a moment before replying, "I come seeking answers, wise one. I am plagued by a sense of emptiness, and I know not how to find peace within myself." The monk nodded knowingly, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "Ah, the restless heart seeks solace in the quiet of the forest," he mused. "But peace cannot be found in the world around us. It must be cultivated from within." With those words, the monk reached out and gently brushed a tear from Kyle's ebony feathers. Startled, the raven blinked back at him, surprised by the sudden display of kindness. "Why do you weep, my friend?" asked the monk, his voice soft but penetrating. "What troubles your heart so deeply?" And so, with a heavy heart, Kyle poured out his woes to the monk, confessing his dissatisfaction with his life and his longing to find true happiness. He spoke of the rejection he faced from the other forest creatures, who viewed him as little more than a scavenger. He spoke of the loneliness that gnawed at him, even amidst the bustling life of the forest. The monk listened patiently to Kyle's tale, his expression one of deep empathy. When the raven had finished speaking, the monk fell silent for a long while, as though lost in thought. At last, he spoke again, his voice low but steady. "My friend, I sense a great sadness within you, but know that you are not alone in your suffering. All living beings experience the pain of longing and the ache of unfulfilled desires. But true happiness lies not in the pursuit of external pleasures, but in the acceptance of what is." With those words, the monk closed his eyes and began to chant softly, the sound of his voice weaving through the air like a gentle melody. Entranced, Kyle listened as the monk spoke of the impermanence of all things, of the fleeting nature of joy and sorrow alike. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Kyle felt a profound sense of peace settle over him like a warm blanket. For the first time in his life, he understood that happiness was not something to be sought after, but something to be discovered within oneself. With a grateful heart, Kyle bid the monk farewell and took to the skies, his wings carrying him higher and higher until he was but a speck against the vast expanse of the night. And though he knew that the road ahead would not be easy, he also knew that he carried within him the seeds of his own happiness. From that day forth, Kyle devoted himself to the practice of mindfulness and meditation, seeking to cultivate the inner peace that the monk had spoken of. And though he faced many trials and tribulations along the way, he never lost sight of the wisdom he had gained in the quiet of the forest. And so, dear reader, let us take heed of Kyle's story and remember that true happiness cannot be found in the pursuit of worldly pleasures, but in the stillness of our own hearts. May we all strive to find peace within ourselves, just as the raven did on that fateful day in the forest. I hope this tale has illuminated your path and offered solace to your soul. So let us embrace peace, cultivate mindfulness, break free from the confines of our own minds, and embark upon the journey of self-discovery with renewed vigor and purpose.